to our YouTube channel, where wisdom meets inspiration. In this channel, we share valuable insights to help you become the best version of yourself. Our content is designed to uplift your spirit and enrich your life. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to stay connected with this incredible journey. Click the subscribe button below.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. The topic for today's discussion is criticism. How to understand and how to handle criticism. I'll briefly present some thoughts. One of the most common human behavior is to pass comments, to judge people, to judge things, to judge situations. From school children to old people, the rich, the poor, the educated, the uneducated, everyone has an opinion and they will express their opinion. And often it is in the form of criticism. Criticism in the sense of disagreeing, not accepting it, being critical, hypercritical. And this criticism is based on our sense of right and wrong, or our likes and dislikes, or our yardstick of perfection, our point of view. Say right and wrong, someone thinks eating non-veg is wrong. So if someone eats a fish, an egg, a chicken or a meat, he immediately has a very strong critical opinion. No, this is very bad, mahapapam. And he criticizes the people who eat that. Likes and dislikes. Someone is wearing a particular kind of dress in a different way, or he behaves, he sits in a way, he eats in some way, he talks in some way, mannerisms. I don't like it, so I immediately pass comments on it. And I pass an opinion which is not positive. And then perfection, someone has done something, he thinks it is fairly good, and maybe others also think it is good, but this person has his own sense of perfection, yardstick of perfection. He disagrees and he criticizes. So the point is, when I criticize someone, it is just an expression of my value system, my sense of right and wrong, my likes and dislikes, and my sense of perfection, my point of view, and so on. It is good, this holds good for everyone. A student to an old man, a rich man, a poor man, an educated man, an illiterate man, everyone. Now these criticisms, there are so many categories. If you go on internet, there is a lot of material on this. But we should always keep in mind, and in Vivekananda Study Circle we insist on always keeping this in mind, it is not new ideas and it is not how many new books I have read that makes a real difference in our life. It is how many ideas I have imbibed and put into practice. That is what really matters. And Swami Vivekananda insisted on this. Remember that quote, education is not the amount of information that is stuffed in your mind and runs right there, undigested all your life. Simply reading book after book, listening to talk after talk, searching everywhere for new ideas, that is not going to help. Some people do that. They are under the impression that if they go on reading new things, then they are improving because they have more ideas and they have more words, more opinions. Intellectually, it may be stimulating, but character is not transformed by learning more and more new things. It is how much I have put into practice what I already know. That makes a real difference and really contributes to character building. And character building is the main goal of all these activities, self-improvement or whatever we call. I have to build my character. Intellect, yes, it has its requirement, but finally, what makes a difference in life is not intellect, it is your character. Criticism not it doesn't usually stem from intellect, it reflects our character. So that's what meant when I say there are various dimensions to criticism. A literary critic, one who is by profession required to critically judge, assess a work of art. It may be a painting, it may be an art form, it may be a writing. So someone has to make a critical judgment and say this is up to the mark. There is a yardstick there again, not just his personal yardstick, the community, the society. If it is a science journal, it is an arts journal. If it is the field of music, there the best in the field, they have created a yardstick, and in comparison to that yardstick, this person, the critic, judges it, and he gives his judgment and says this is up to the mark or something is lacking here. Now that is his profession, he has to do it. How he does it, how efficiently and how positively, creatively, that is the difference left to him. We are not talking about those minute details in various fields. You will see criticism in general can be classified as two kinds. One is positive or constructive criticism, another is negative or destructive criticism. Usually they will fall into this. Even an art critic, he can be very, very negative. So it is not just the field of criticism, we are talking general classification, positive and negative, constructive or destructive. These are the two kinds of criticism. And there are two ways of our criticism. One is giving, another is taking. Give and take. I give criticism, I take criticism. This is part of life. So with this general understanding, let us see how negative criticism works and what it is. Now, negative criticism disapproves of something. It disagrees and disapproves. No, not this, not like that. And that is done only to show that something is wrong, something is poor, it is despicable, not worthy. I say this is horrible. So there ends the matter. I have given my judgment about it. So here is a dance performance, here is someone's writing, and I say terrible. I have given my judgment. So what happens? It is not, the focus is more on what should not be or should not be done like this. No, this is not the way it can be done. Horrible. Is this the way? I have criticized it. Sometimes it begins with a negative criticism and someone may then pass on to positive criticism. But often we start and we end with negative criticism. I don't like what it has been done or how it has been done. I express it very strong words I have used and sharp words, and I have left it there. Now, this negative criticism, it will create self-doubt in the other person. Especially if it is a teacher, that is most damaging for the student. Horrible answer you have written. Is this what I thought you? You're stupid, useless. Finish. That child will lose all self-faith. So this negative criticism, it can come sometimes unintentionally even from parents who have best intentions. They want their child to improve, son or daughter, but unknowingly they only give negative criticism. You are unworthy, you are useless. So this kind of a criticism which shows only something which is wrong and expresses my dislike or disagreement with that will create a negative loop where the person who is receiving it suffers and I who am giving it will also suffer. Why will I suffer? Because this kind of a negative condemnatory attitude, it comes at a costly psychological price for me. If I am giving a negative criticism, it will very soon, in some way or other, it will come back and I find I myself become like that. It is a very deep psychological truth. What we go on criticizing in someone else, slowly it manifests in us. This will take some time to manifest, and it will take time and also some effort to understand how this works. Because I and this universe, we are one. I am one with the universe. And when I judge something so critically, that is negative, destructive way, I am harming myself. And in fact, the psychological truth is, it is something which I am very passionately disapproving in myself, that I disapprove outside also. It is like this. I don't like this particular thought or this behavior or this feeling or this kind of conduct in me, but I am weak. I repeat it. And this something which I dislike in me, I strongly dislike in others. That's why Swamiji says, you cannot see something outside which is not inside you already. A child cannot see something which is outside there, which a teenager or elderly person sees, because there is innocence there. So what I see very strongly and criticize, especially what I criticize very strongly outside, is what I have inside me also. This will require a little deep thinking and meditative thinking to understand. But this works like that. So when someone is very critical of someone's conduct or particular way of living or doing something, it is something he himself suffers from. Usually it goes like that. And that will only reinforce that behavior, that thought, that attitude in me. So this spiritual truth is known to the spiritual masters. That's why Jesus Christ tells us, judge not, lest you be judged. If you judge others, you will also be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. So this is the yardstick, this is the barometer I have used to judge you. What is that? Vegetarianism is the only true thing in the world. Okay. Or having or doing some eating or thinking or enjoying this kind of a pleasure is horrible. I have used some yardstick which I think is very sacred because some scripture told it, or very perfect because someone I respect has told this is the perfect way to do something. I have used that judgment, that yardstick, to judge others and have been very harsh in judging that. It may be with my own family members, it may be with my friends, with my colleagues, or with common people unknown to me outside, or with the general system, society itself. I use something to judge, and I express that judgment in a very strong manner, with very strong evocative words, then that will come back to me. Judge not, lest you be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. Again, Jesus says, every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof. You know, as I told in the very first sentence, passing comments and judgment is a pastime for some people. It is an amusement also for some people. When two people or three people gather, those three tongues get into work. What do they talk? Something which happened or something which has to be done, and then very soon about some other person who is not there. Two people gather, they will start talking about the third person. And when they start talking about the third person, unknowingly somehow it will slip very often into criticism. So it is an idle word, because we too sitting here and commenting about someone who is not here is not going to help that person. And this is not going to help me either. It is idle talk. That Jesus says, idle word, every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof. And then again, something very interesting, very, very deep thought. He says, it's not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. People have strange ideas. If you eat this food, you will be defiled. So he says, it is not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. You are defiled by the words that come out of your mouth. Such a wonderful thought. अपवित्र हो गया ये खाने से. No, no. Your apavitrata did not come to you because you ate something. What you speak, that makes you impure. Because that expresses the state, the condition, the quality of your mind. What do we mean by that? The kind of samskaras that you have. The samskaras you have are coming out in your words. How to know a person? Just listen to what he speaks about others. If we want to know, how is this man, how is this woman? Don't look for someone telling anything about them. Listen to what they say about someone else. That very often reveals their character. So it is not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. You are defiled by the words that come out of your mouth. Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, she says, Ninda thatra korte pare sabai, ghodte pare koijon, in Bengali. If I expand it, it will go like this. Everyone can blame, condemn, and pull down. You blame him, you condemn him, and you pull him down, or pull something down. But how many can be constructive and help build something, help someone to rise? How many can do that? That is required. Criticizing something to bring it down, that has become a pastime for our countrymen in India. You can see that happening now in India. Something is not working, a system is not working. You go on shouting and blaming from the Prime Minister to every fellow else. Horrible, they don't know, they did this, they did that. 75 years almost now since independence, our infrastructure, health infrastructure has never been challenged like this. And it is a very poor health infrastructure we have. Now we are waking up. 130 crore people with such a poor health infrastructure, certainly it is bound to break down. So instead of simply scolding everyone, I also have come to know TV channels continuously show there is so much cremation, there is so much happening. Yes, death is happening. Don't you know that death will come? Death comes. Oh, this is unfortunate, it happened. We have forgotten pandemics, that's why we are jumping around like this. There have been pandemics in human history from the time it has been recorded. And the last was sometime in 1916, 17. We don't have much record because we were slave country then. And also media was not like this. But people died in lakhs together died in India itself. So they should not die in 21st century. You may think like that. Then in 21st century, a virus should not come. For you and me, technology means we have become very great. But a virus, a small, tiny virus, it tells us, no, you are not beyond nature. However big you may be, however great you may be in technology, a smallest virus can lie you down, make you lie down. And that's happening. So what is the positive way of facing it collectively? Instead of thinking that way, general tendency we see now is blaming someone. And whom to blame? Blame the system, blame God, blame someone else. Now that is a negative, destructive criticism. Continuously blaming the system is in one way going to pull down the country's image, not in the eyes of other people, in our own mind, in our own eyes. We go down. We are a useless country, we are useless, we are useless. We become useless. You start condemning someone like this, you become that. So on the other side is positive constructive criticism. This also, criticism means I disagree or I disapprove of something. It may be partial or wholesale, I disagree with that. But this positive or constructive criticism, it disapproves of something or someone or some behavior or some situation by showing a better way, a more practical or alternative way of doing something, of improving. It doesn't stop at telling this is horrible, this is bad, this is wrong. It says it will be better if it is done like this. It is better if this arrangement is done. It will look good if this is done or kept like that. So the focus is on providing better ideas, or how to be better, or how to do something better. We can do this to improve this situation. That kind of a thinking, that kind of a feedback, an opinion expressed with some positive words, that is called positive constructive criticism. There are so many angles to that. Let us not go. I want to know your thoughts on it. Now, this criticism, as I said, there are two things, giving and taking criticism. We usually pass judgment and have an opinion about everything, and we express it to people who are younger to us, let us say my junior in my lab, or I express it to my colleague who is same. We are classmates, we are friends, or I express it to someone who is senior. So it will be a difference in how I express it depending on who it is. If it is my junior, I don't give much thought. Maybe my classmate, my same age, I think in a different way. If it is my senior, I do it in a different way. Now, before we do this, if I have to give a positive criticism, let us not discuss negative criticism. Giving negative criticism is not on table at all. Giving positive criticism, I have to try first to always see the positive in the situation, in the person, in the thing. Before I express my opinion, I should first see what is positive in it. Only then that criticism becomes positive. What are the positive possibilities in the person, in the thing, in the situation? I should recognize it before expressing my opinion. Only then that criticism becomes constructive. So this is a habit, a mental habit that has to be cultivated. It doesn't come just by listening once. Always trying to see the best, the positive in anything. Swami Vivekananda had this characteristic. Whatever it was, he would see the positive element in that. Yeah, he's like that, he can do better. He has that potential. Yeah, this has some use. This also has some benefit. Nivedita once asks him, his disciple, how is it that you always take the positive handle of everything? Did you learn it from your Guru Sri Ramakrishna? Swamiji says, yeah, maybe, unknowingly, he has taught us. Because he would never criticize or condemn anyone. Swami Vivekananda says, I have never heard those lips criticize anyone. Never. And once when Swamiji is very sharp in his criticism, then he sheds tears and says, I am unfit to be his disciple. One whose lips never uttered any criticism, I am his disciple and now I have criticized this someone here. Now, Sri Ramakrishna was of that capacity he had, because he had the perfect oneness with this world. I cannot criticize anyone without harming myself. So I always see the best. Now, a mother, she criticizes her child, not to pull him down, or it is not to finish him off. Sometimes mothers give negative criticism unknowingly. They don't know how to give positive criticism because we have never been trained to express our opinion positively. So the first step in this is try to see the positive in everything, in every people, in every situation. Even in this pandemic, there is something positive. What is it? I have to discover. And it need not be one positive, a universal positive. That will be a subjective experience. What is positive in this pandemic It is positive for me, it is positive for you, it is positive for the other person in different ways. It depends on how much we have evolved and what we need to learn. You will have to understand this. There is a positive in every situation. That depends on you, your level of evolution and progression. That positivity depends for you, subjectivity, subjective. And then we should know what to criticize. It is not necessary that we have to have an opinion about everything in this world. Why should I have an opinion about everything? If I am asked to give an opinion about this electric circuit, I say I don't know. I have no clue about what is this electricity, how it works, how this designing should be done. Should I have an opinion? Aesthetic sense, commonly we all have our own aesthetic sense. That again is subjective. Something which I like, the other person may say, no, that is not a good color. That is not a good combination. But someone likes it. Someone likes, here in Tamil Nadu, they like dark red, dark colors. Someone in the other place, a little different, you go in a different region, they like more sober colors. Now it reflects the characteristic, general characteristic of that society. So it is individual's expression of his or her gunas, trigunas. Now that I'm keeping in mind, I should know what I should pass my comments about. I don't have to criticize everything. And I don't have to have an opinion about everything and express it. Next is when to criticize. We have to take a moment before expressing our opinion. This is something we all need to learn. There will be an instinct, an itch, a strong itch to comment. The moment I see something, I have an itch to comment. And if it is negative, the itch is more strong. So if I want to be positive, even when if it is a positive itch, I have to just hold on for a second and say, how shall I express this? If I have been trained in expressing my opinion, critical opinion, then of course I don't have much difficulty in automatically my choice of words and my expression comes out positively. If not, I should at least give a gap of a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds, before I give my criticism, positive criticism. I have seen something, I saw something, I want to give a critical opinion about it. Give a gap. Don't do it on the spur. On the spur means immediately. Chat kare. Not like that. Create a gap. Take a moment and then express it with chosen words. And what is this expression? One thing we have to keep in mind, to avoid making it personal. Instead of what you are doing is not correct. Now, you in that sentence can be avoided. This is, I think, not the way to do it. I think this is not being correctly done. I can make it more impersonal. Even as it is, whenever someone gives us a comment, we take it personally. We'll discuss this in the next point, how to take criticism. But we are now discussing how to give positive criticism. One important, I think, we have to keep in mind is, don't make it personal. Don't bring you people, don't bring that personal element. Focus, make it impersonal. About the activity, about the situation, whatever it is that you want to pass. Give a critical judgment, something which is maybe not in agreement. If you are perfectly agreeing, this discussion is not about that. This is about expressing disagreement. So when you are giving a positive disagreement, let it not be personal. That is the point. Now, how to take criticism? The first step is to not assume negative intentions in the other person. When someone criticizes me, my natural instinct is to suspect he doesn't like me. He is jealous. Oh, he's a crooked fellow. He's always like that. Oh, he doesn't understand. Once I have dismissed him with this, his intentions are not good or he is unfit to pass a comment, then I lose from benefiting with this positive criticism. Because The opinion that people around me, that will help me to know how I am working, how I am progressing, or how I am expressing, communicating myself. When we stand in front of a mirror, we'll get to know how I look. If I don't have a mirror, I have absolutely no clue how I look. Now, people around me are the mirrors. They mirror and reflect what I am in terms of how I am expressing myself. If I am silent, perfectly blissfully sitting quiet, there is no reflection in the other person. My character is reflected in people around me, how they respond, how they react. So they are reflecting mirrors for me to understand how I am communicating. Sometimes unintentionally, we will be communicating something which we don't mean at all. It is not because communication is not just through words, it is through our facial expression, our hand gestures, the tone of the voice, the pitch of the voice. Everything communicates something. Now, these are subtle communications which we perhaps are not aware of. Oh, why do you make your face such a frowning face and tell me? Oh, I didn't know I was frowning. Oh, yes, you are frowning. Why are you shouting? Oh, no, I am not shouting. No, you are shouting. Yes, you are shouting at me. I am not shouting. This is the way I talk. So then I start defending. First thing we do is we defend ourselves. So when some criticism, when opinion comes, the first step we do is first dismiss this person or give some negative this thing to his motive, and then become defensive. I become defensive. So no, it is not like that. No, that's not what I said. Or I say, no, you are wrong. You are not giving it a good thought. You are not understanding it. Now, when this happens, we should keep in mind, most of us, 99% of us, we are not trained in how to express our opinion. I, at least, all through my education, I was never taught how to disagree, how to express your disagreement. If you are critically disagreeing with something, how do you express it? Nobody taught me. And I am sure many of us have not had any such curriculum where we are taught how to disagree. So we pick it up from our parents. In psychology, it is called parent, adult, child. How the ego functions. The parent ego functioning is unconsciously we pick up from our parents, our elders, our grandparents, how they express their disagreement. I pick it up, maybe with some alteration, but the attitude will be what I have picked up from my elders or from my friends, from my peers. And that goes on continuously in my life from my childhood. I keep learning from people around me. And if I am in the group or with people who keep criticizing people negatively, even if I don't intend it, I will pick up that negative criticism. That's why Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi says, if you are in a group and that group starts criticizing someone, immediately leave the place. If not, you will be sharing the sin of criticizing someone. She is very particular and very sharp in this idea. She says, if you are in the group, even if you are not criticizing, you are just staying with them and they are criticizing, negative criticism about someone, she says, you will be sharing that sin. Judge not, lest you be judged. Because there is a psychological consequence for that. In the sense that I myself will start becoming like that. And second, there is a karmic consequence for that. Karma is mathematically precise. This universe is one, and there is a law functioning in this universe. What is karma? Karma is action. What is action? Action is energy in expression. So when this energy is one that is negative, it is harming the other person, it is harming me who am expressing that energy. And that consequence will come back to me. Whatever we give out comes back with compound interest, Swami Vivekananda tells us. He says, whatever you give this world will come back to you with compound interest. When will it come? Not 5 years, 10 years. It may come years later. It may come in some other birth. But it has to come because I have sent it out. I shaped that energy to go out like this, a negative energy. It will come back to me. Now, most of us, we are not trained to express our opinion. So, naturally, in general, it will be negative. So, when we receive a negative criticism, let us not, first of all, assume and say they are very bad, or they are jealous, they are crooked, they hate me, they dislike me, or they are upper caste, or they are rich people, they are very intelligent fellows, they are that party, that ideology people. That's why they talk like this. Let us not uh, blame them with this kind of a thinking. It is possible that someone has a good intention, but he doesn't know how to express it. He is giving it a negative expression. It is very much possible. If your father or mother is continuously nagging you, do you say, he hates me, she hates me, oh, they want me to die, that's why they are doing this? No parent wants that. But their parents gave them negative feedback and they are passing it on to you. It has not worked out for them and it has come down to you. If you are enlightened, you can at least say, let me change this. I will not take it negatively. Yes, my mother or my senior or my teacher, someone has given me a negative feedback, a negative criticism. I don't have to take it negatively. I can take it positively. How do I take it positively? First step, immediately don't react. Because when I get a negative reaction, negative criticism, the blood rushes to the brain. I become angry or I become fearful. I am frightened. And in the second case, I become defensive. And in the first case, I just become aggressive. I like to defend myself and I become aggressive. Who are you to tell? Don't you also do this? I know what you do. Immediately, it is not good for me and not good for the other person. So, first step is create a gap, time gap, as in when you want to give a critical opinion. When you are receiving also, just a 30-second gap will help you to calm down, because first instinct will be either to fight or flight. That is what they say, fight or flight. Flight is defensive, because when you're taking a criticism, you immediately go into your shell and become defensive, or you give excuses and this, that, or fight aggressive. No, no, you're not correct. Both of them are not constructive for me. A constructive way of receiving a negative criticism is to see if there is anything worth in it. Is there anything worth? That an intelligent mind can always find out. If I dismiss it, dismiss the person, maybe there was a really good positive criticism only presented in a negative way. I have lost an opportunity to improve. This mirror was showing something, a flaw in me, a flaw in my expression, a flaw probably in my character, which I have not been able to see. And this mirror in this person reflected that and pointed it out, and I failed to see. So, how to take a negative criticism? See if there is something really positive in that. Don't see how it has been expressed. Focus on what is being said, not how it has been said. See how he made his face when he was telling that? You saw her tone, in what tone, how she shouted. So the tone and the expression, nobody has been trained. We are not film actors. We have not been trained. So neither is the other person trained. Neither am I trained. When I am not trained, why should I expect the other person to be trained? They express it like that because they picked up from their parents. So we should not focus on how they are saying it. Rather, we should say, let me see if there is some worth in what he is telling. Now, that is called critically judging the feedback, his opinion. If there is any merit, accept it, work on it, because it is to my advantage. And if you feel hurt at his conduct, excuse it for his lack of training. The very idea, that very fact, if that I am feeling hurt, it means I have not learned how to take criticism. How to grieve criticism, how to take criticism. In both, we need training. And I don't know if there is any course for that. Life itself can train us. A little bit of reflection, a little depth in my own personality, and the sense of oneness with this world. That will help me to overcome this personalizing of
ಡೋರ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್
criticism.
ಮಾಡಿದ.
If we take things personally, it will simply drain away our energy. It is a big drain on energy, taking criticism personally. Now, this is in short some thoughts I have presented about criticism: negative, destructive criticism, positive, constructive criticism, and how, when a negative, destructive criticism is given, it comes back to me. It has to come back, and that is a psychological cost to be paid for that. And how to take a negative criticism and how to give a positive criticism. We have seen that. I'll share some thoughts with you about Swamiji's from life, his life on criticism. Swamiji was criticized like anything. In America, from the day he became famous, world famous, at the Chicago Parliament of Religions, he was criticized left, right, center. There were the Christian missionaries, and there were some other Hindus, and that one lady who had converted to Christianity. Continuously they criticized him. And character assassination. Lot of lies. So many lies they told about Vivekananda. They tried to spread slander about his character. They said, he has been invited somewhere, and these people go and tell you, oh, you're inviting him, and you have your wife and daughters at home, you don't know who he is? So some people canceled that invitation. And later, when they came to know that this was all done to push him down, there was a missionary group working there and many others working to say, this Hindu fellow, he is coming and trying to revive Hinduism, we should finish him here. So that kind of intense criticism, he kept quiet. He says, you never found me smart under criticism. He says, okay, you criticize me. Sri Ramakrishna, one day when he is still Narendranath, he asks Naren, what will you do when someone criticizes you? He says, I will think some dog is barking at me. Sri Ramakrishna says, oh, don't go so far. Don't go so far. There is an example, an elephant, when it walks in the street, the dogs start barking at it. The elephant doesn't even mind. It doesn't even care. This punny fellow, he keeps barking his head off, and the elephant continues to walk regally, and he goes out. He's not bothered in the least by these dogs barking. In one of his letters, Swamiji writes to his brother disciples, especially in the context of the Ramakrishna order, give up criticism altogether. Help all as long as you find they are doing all right. And in cases where they seem to be going wrong, show them their mistakes gently. It is criticizing each other that is at the root of all mischief. That is the chief factor in breaking down organizations. It is also the chief factor in the breakdown of families, in the breakdown of friendships. Husband and wife start criticizing each other not because of themselves. The criticism begins from your father, your mother was like this, your family is like this. And so it is so immature. So that unbridled criticism will slowly go out of control. I will start using words, I will have a facial expression, a tone which I really did not intend. That's what is meant. When you start criticizing, slowly you become that without knowing. And then it becomes your second nature. If you are rude, very slowly but surely it becomes your nature and you won't know. And then you say, this is how I am. This is how I talk. Now that was a choice I had made at one point of time, or I picked up from someone, and now I say this is what I am. No, that is not what I am. I chose to become that. And I have a choice to not be that. So that is the danger of criticism. Help all as long as you find they are doing all right. And in cases where they seem to be going wrong, show them their mistakes gently. This is in another lecture he gave. He says, here am I trying to propose to you something of constructive work and not destructive. For criticism, the days are past and we are waiting for constructive work. The world needs at times criticisms, even fierce ones, but that is only for a time. And the work for eternity is progress and construction. Yes, very sharp criticism. It may be necessary. If there is an abscess on the body, the surgeon will cut it open. It will be very painful. Yes, that may be required. And then after that, you don't go on cutting it. That will become another big wound. Once the pus is removed, bad blood is removed, then the process of construction, recovery begins. So Swamiji says the reform movements in India, that's the time when Swamiji was speaking, they were criticizing anything about Hinduism. Anything and everything of Hinduism was criticized. Why is India poor? Because of Hinduism. Why is India so weak? Because of Hinduism. All the evils are in Hinduism. Swamiji got tired of it. So he says, yes, it is required, but not forever. Because if you can only give negative criticism, you are going to kill yourself and kill this society. Negative you started, when will it become positive? The work for eternity, for future, that what is it? It is not destructive. It has to be positive, constructive. Eternity is progress and construction, not criticism and destruction. For the last 100 years or so, there has been a flood of criticism all over this land of ours, where the full play of Western science has been let loose upon all the dark spots. And as a result, the corners and the holes have become much more prominent than anything else. Naturally enough, there arose many mighty intellects all over the land, great and glorious, with the love of truth and justice in their hearts, with the love of their country, and above all, an intense love for their religion and their God. And because these mighty souls felt so deeply, because they loved so deeply, they criticized everything they thought was wrong. From the Brahmo Samaj, he had seen how continuously anything about Hinduism is criticized until you start feeling you are worthless, you are a worm. And there were other forces which were very encouraging in this factor. Yes, criticize yourself. Learn how to criticize yourself. You are horrible. You worship plants, you worship snakes, you are eating like this, you are so dirty, you are so poor. Criticize yourself. Glory unto these mighty spirits of the past. They have done so much good. But the voice of the present day is coming to us telling, enough. There has been enough of criticism. There has been enough of fault finding. The time has come for the rebuilding, the reconstruction. The time has come for us to gather all our scattered forces, to concentrate them into one focus, and through that to lead the nation on its onward march, which for centuries almost has been stopped. The house has been cleansed. Let it be inhabited anew. The road has been cleared. March, children of the Aryans. So that is positive construction, constructive criticism. You go on being negative, that is not going to help anyone, neither you or nor the person or the system or the society which is being criticized. How do I do this? First, let us be gods. Before you criticize, make sure that fault is not in you. What is it that you are criticizing? Government is doing nothing. What have you done? Are you doing anything? If you have not done anything, then don't criticize anyone. You have no right to criticize. First, let us be gods, and then help others to be gods. Be and make. Let this be our motto. Say not man is a sinner. Tell him that he is a god. Even if there were a devil, it would be our duty to remember God always and not the devil. If the room is dark, the constant feeling and repeating of darkness will not take it away, but bring in the light. Let us know that all that is negative, all that is destructive, all that is mere criticism is bound to pass away. It is the positive, the affirmative, the constructive that is immortal, that will remain forever. Let us say, we are, and God is, and we are God. Shivoham, Shivoham, and march on. not matter, but spirit. All that has name and form is subject to all that has none. This is the eternal truth. The Shrutis preach. Shrutis are the Vedas. Bring in the light. The darkness will vanish of itself. Let the lion of Vedanta roar. The foxes will fly to their holes. Throw the ideas broadcast and let the result take care of itself. Let us put the chemicals together. The crystallization will take its own course. Bring forth the power of the Spirit and pour it over the length and breadth of India, and all that is necessary will come by itself. Bring forth the power of the Spirit and pour it over the length and breadth of India, and all that is necessary will come by itself. That is the work of modern India. That is the challenge that Swami Vivekananda throws at us. Don't be negative. Don't say there is darkness, break your head and curse others. There is darkness, you brought darkness, darkness is because of you. There is darkness, how to bring light, and how I will contribute to bringing this light. That's all we have to think. Please reflect on this. It is nothing very deep, philosophical in one sense, but again, in terms of understanding and practice, it requires deep thought. Because we all criticize. Every one of us, we criticize. How we have done until now, we don't know. But from now onwards, how I will do, how I will express my feelings, my thoughts, my opinions, let us be a little more conscious. Let us train ourselves how to express it. One of my professors, he used to say, let us agree to disagree. There will be less conflict. Even in a family, why should the whole family think alike, feel alike on every matter, every idea, everything, every issue? Not necessary. In values, in terms of what we value, yes, we would like to think alike and stand together in that. You wear that color, I will wear this color. You prefer sitting on a sofa, I prefer sitting on this mat. That's a choice we should give way. You prefer eating that, I will prefer eating this. Remember that what you eat does not defile you. What words you utter, that is what defiles you. If everyone knows this wonderful truth, I think half our problems in family, in society also will be less, because we are making an issue of what people dress, what people eat, without understanding that is not the main thing that we should be bothering.